All right, we're live.
We are back. Mother truckers, Rashod Bateman, the prince who was promised, Azor Azai, the prince who was promised, Rashod Bateman. How often does this happen? The Ravens flock comes to a consensus. This feels like when everyone wanted Dez Bryant. Everyone knew Dez Bryant was the guy. And the Ravens got snaked by the Dallas Cowboys. I'm out of breath a little bit. Rashod Bateman is a Baltimore Raven. It rolls off the tongue. They have a 3-level receiver with a complete game. The excuses are no more. Lamar Jackson gets a weapon. They have another pick. It might be Tevin Jenkins. What is going on? Goosebumps.
It's good. It's good. It's good. I did my whining all off season. I cried and whined. I was shotgun on one of those. I'll do it if you cut it for me. If you cut it for me.
I'm wet in more ways than one.
Listen, you were already a little hot and bothered there, as was I.
We got them coming in. Join us in a celebratory drink. Ravens fans. Ravens flock. This doesn't happen. We don't get what we ask for, but we still like it. And guess what? Eric DaCosta gave us what we wanted. We're here. We're loud. We're ready. Let's go. This was ideal. And guess what? Neither of these teams need offensive linemen. Maybe the Bills. If you can go get Tevin Jenkins at pick 31, that's a shock. Cheers, raise your glasses, deck beers. We love it. Rashod Bateman, welcome to Baltimore. We've been waiting for you. Cheers. Rashod Bateman is a Baltimore Raven, a player who presents the most balanced receiver ability in quite some time. He can win underneath. He can win inside. He can win outside, and he can win deep. He's a 3-level receiver. He can beat press. He can beat zone coverage. He's intelligent. Peyton Turner off the board. Hate to see that. The guy that we would have liked. But one step closer to maybe Tevin Jenkins replacing Orlando Brown, and you're in a good spot. If the Ravens trade back, no one cares. Everyone's happy. Baltimore is happy. I don't know really anyone that we've seen, Jake, over the past 2-3 months that would be upset by this pick. Have we heard anyone?
No, nor should they be. This is the perfect pick. This is the pick that you needed to make. This is a pick that I don't think you should have been so cute waiting around to make, to be honest. Like, if I were them, I would have been doing what I had to do to jump up and go grab this guy. They didn't do it. They were smarter than me. They didn't panic. He dropped them there, and they did what they had to do, man. And I'm very impressed. I'm very surprised. I'm just in a glass case of emotion right now. And it's great, man. It's the guy that they needed. This is a guy who's going to step in from day one. He's going to be pro ready, and he's going to do what Lamar Jackson needs. He's going to offer a more complete, nuanced role to this offense than you kind of already have. And this is what you needed. Eric DaCosta, you're not insulted anymore, my man. See if I can find this.
Here's a guy. There's no reason to be insulted anymore. It was a facade. It was a fake. It was a phony. It was a window. It was a Wagoozy. It was a Fagoozy. It was a Fugazi.
I'm going to go get the papers.
The insulted comment appeared to be the headline of the Liars Luncheon, baby. Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman.
We've been talking about this for
Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman.
4 months.
Rashod Bateman, a Baltimore Raven. What do we do with ourselves?
I don't know. I don't know.
What do we do with ourselves?
I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't.
So here's what you get in Rashod Bateman. You get a receiver that is about 6 foot, somewhere between 190 and 200 pounds. He plays with an ability to sell routes, to stack, to attack blind spots. He is a high IQ receiver. I think Devontae Smith was the highest IQ receiver in this draft class. I would say him and Elijah Moore are right about tied for second in their ability to win against zone coverage. What do the Ravens play against? 69% zone coverage. Rashod Bateman gives you yak. Rashod Bateman gives you contested catch ability. Rashod Bateman wins on the outside. Rashod Bateman wins inside. There is one flaw. Garnett, I don't know if you're here or not. Garnett called it out very early on too, and then I picked it up from him. He false steps out of his stance. He's a very leggy stance. He has kind of a straight-legged stance, something you would like to probably see him come off the line of scrimmage just a little bit quicker, bend his knees, reduce the split between foot to foot, and attack the line of scrimmage, attack the corner a little better. But he is the perfect blend of quickness, speed, and prowess as an intelligent wide receiver. He has a sweet kind of like little label. I think he's a little bit of a mogul kind of guy. Between Sammy Watkins.
I was going to say it's fitting.
Sammy Watkins, Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin, you got Duvernay, you got Prochet. That is the receiver room that we wanted, and Eric DaCosta gave it to us. Thank you, Eric DaCosta. With these picks. So Peyton Turner, a great pick by the Saints, a guy that, I had a first-round grade on that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. We got the Packers, and come to speak of the Packers, in a weird position right now. What's going on with Aaron Rodgers? They're disgruntled MVP. Guess who's gruntled?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's gruntled.
He's
right
gruntled.
now.
He's gruntled. He's extremely gruntled. And he better, listen, they got Hollywood Brown. That was this guy. You're gruntled. The offensive line, you get rid of Orlando Brown, but you're still pretty gruntled. You got Ronnie Stanley. You got some other guys along there. Kevin Zeitler was a good signing. You got Mark Andrews. You're still gruntled. You got Nick Boyle. You're gruntled. You get Rashod Bateman. You're gruntled. There's still work to do. Listen, we're not done yet. We're never done yet.
I think we ain't done yet.
Who did Green Bay pick? Do we know?
I'm sure one of our listeners will tell us. And Stats also attacked us like 4 minutes before, so we got overwhelmed by that. We also kicked ass on that, by the way.
We did.
We kicked ass on that.
That was a great job by you to get that video. I was not expecting, or I wasn't thinking ahead.
I'm not even saying the video. I'm saying on the SB Nation main, we kicked ass.
Oh yeah, of course we did.
We kicked ass.
That was always going to happen. But.
Who do the Packers take right here? Let's see it. Eric Stokes. I had him going in the first round. I did say that Rashod Bateman will be going in the second round. I did think that, I've had some mixed feelings, but ultimately, last time I talked on this podcast, I said Greg Rousseau, Rashod Bateman, one of those two, and a trade back. I said Rashod Bateman and a trade back. I change my mind all the time, so whatever. You can only give me about 60% of credit, but you can give Jake 100% of credit. He's been on that for a month and a half. Think about. So called it, called you, call your mother, call your parents, tell them you love them, call Eric DaCosta, tweet at Lacey DaCosta, tell her she's beautiful, tell her husband is beautiful, tell her that Boston is a lovely place this time of year. We love the DaCostas. We love everything about this. This is awesome. Everything is awesome. I am jazzed. I'm juiced. I'm excited. If you cannot tell, we're doing well.
It was just that easy. It was a tough offseason, talk about free agency. Difficult time with some of these free agents. You strike out on Juju Smith-Schuster, which sucks. I would have liked to have him. You strike out on T.Y. Hilton. I would not have liked to have him. That really sucked. That was insulting. Yeah, I was insulted by it too, to be honest. And then, it's from there. What are you going to do? Sammy Watkins, good pickup. Other than that, it's tough, man. You had to do something. And this idea that they were just going to sit there and not let anything happen. I was getting a little quiet. I don't know if you noticed there, in the stream that we were doing prior to hopping on with Stats and the boys, but I was getting a little antsy. I was like, move up and make this thing happen. And then he falls all the way there to 27.
And guess what? There. We're one pick away from Tevin Jenkins and Rashod Bateman being able to solidify this offense, give us what we asked for, go all in on offense. If the Ravens go defense, it's okay because they already did it. There's still some crazy ballers on the board. You still got Trevon Merritt. You still got Greg Rousseau, who everybody wants to talk about. You still got Azeez Ojulari. You still got Elijah Moore. I don't think the Ravens are going to go back-to-back receiver. That would be, somebody call Eric Costa and make sure he's not overdosing on freaking gimlets.
Overdosing on being insulted.
Overdosing on being insulted. So that's not going to happen. I'm a little surprised to see what we all wanted happen. Man.
I'm in my refractory period right now, to be honest.
I am amped I am amped. I make the Reggie Wayne comparison. I like to think he's somewhere around, a smaller version.
You know what he is for me? This is really like, it might put a bad taste in Ravens fans' mouth, but like mid-career Michael Crabtree, where he's kind of in between the injuries, but he's still really good, very fast, just a complete receiver, catches it with his hands, like just does the shit that you need to do. And Crabtree's a weird player, so it's like a hard comparison to make, but like that's sort of what I was seeing a little bit when I was watching him earlier today. So we'll certainly see what happens, but like for all the negative thoughts about that guy, for what he did in a Ravens uniform, he was very good for much of his career, and that's kind of what I was thinking.
He has a well-balanced game, man. He provides a lot more vertically and after the catch maybe than a Willie Snead. He's going to give versatility inside and outside. He has a balanced frame. He has a balanced game. We're here, man. We're here. We got him. The Baltimore Ravens. Jeff's Reback. I think the Ravens fans are going to approve of this pick. In the Instagram, Beatdown, Big Board, Rashod Bateman. Twitter, probably.
Twitter, I would think so. Let's check.
I'm sure it was
quick.
Rashod Bateman. I think that we got a little bit tired of it. We were like, all right, we'll see what happens. Whatever. They're not going to do.
You don't want to set yourself up to get hurt,
In the words of Nicolas Cage, is this what you were trying to say? Was that why you brought up Nicolas Cage, or did you bring up Nicolas Cage earlier? I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do and freak out.
I don't think I brought.
You brought a Nicolas Cage reference up earlier, though. Way earlier in the night, I think, maybe. You said Nicolas Cage at some point this evening.
I think he was brought up. I don't know if it.
It was not that context.
It might have been a face-off reference, which I've been known to do those from time to time.
Rashod Bateman, a Baltimore Raven. I think I started this shit.
You did.
I think you carried it.
I did.
I think I got a little tired and was like, it's not going to happen because whatever. And then in the end, I was like, you know what?
Well, I watched him early on too, and I was like, yeah, this guy's really good. I like him. We'll see what happens. They're probably not going to pick him. So it's kind of just like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's fine. He'll be like that tier 2, like late, first round receiver, early second round receiver. Nothing's going to happen on that front for the Ravens. So I didn't allow myself to get excited. Then I allowed myself to get excited the last couple of weeks. I was like, you know what? Like, Eric DeCosta is a smart guy.
You thought they were going to trade up for him.
I did. Yeah. I was like,
it's been a weird first round.
We were talking to Stats earlier. I was on his show the other day. I was like, they're going to trade up for this guy. I made my I called it. I was like, they're going to go up to Indianapolis.
You are Eric DeCosta. You're inside his head.
Listen,
you're inside his head.
I could listen. I'm not going to confirm or deny those rumors, but I like to think that I have a pulse on what this guy's doing.
It's quite insulting.
And
I'm insulted by it too, to be honest.
The fact that he was so insulted, like when he said that, and like he had that really just salty look on his face.
Tongue.
He had that salty fucking look on his face. I was like, he does not give a flying fuck what James Prochet thinks. Who I like James, like hope to God he turns into a real receiver. He doesn't care about that.
All right, this is the final time. I'm interrupting for 5 words.
Go ahead.
We love you, James Prochet. We think you're a good, capable player. We're not kissing James Prochet ass anymore.
No, we're not. And like, nor was I. And like, neither were you. And like, I'm not like, I like James. I hope he becomes like a solid.
No, we're not doing that. What you're doing right now, we're not doing that anymore.
Okay.
Of course, we hope that. Of course, we think he has potential.
Okay.
Disclaimer. Yes.
Disclaimer is that
moratorium on kissing on doing the back end shit is done. We hope he balls out. That's the last time we say it.
So disclaimer is added to that. He's not angry about the public opinion on James Prochet and Devin Duvernay and Miles Boykin. He's angry. No, there's not. He's angry because he's tried to do
Vaz
this.
is in heaven.
He's tried to do. Hell yeah. He's tried to do this. Gregory Rousseau to the Bills. He's tried to do this. He's tried to get DeAndre Hopkins. That did not work out. He sniffed around on Adam Thielen. That did not work out. You get shunted by little TikTok Juju Smith-Schuster, that little B word. That didn't work out. He tried to get T.Y. Hilton. That is terrible. That didn't work out. It's like at a certain point, you get really fed up. And like you can't say, oh, well, I'm mad that I haven't been able to fix the problem by signing these guys. So, praise in public, punishment in private. You say, I like my guys. I'm just going to defend my guys in public, but in private, you're thinking like, no, I'm actually just pissed off. I haven't been adequately able to solve this issue by adding the players that I need to. So this is a good first step. This is a player that he needed to add, and a good second step, really, because Sammy Watkins, I think, is a good addition into this mix with Hollywood Brown, with Rashod Bateman, with Devin Duvernay, with Mark Andrews, with Nick Boyle. So
Out of the SIS handbook, Rashod Bateman. Weaknesses, not written by me. This is written by Jeff Dean. Footwork at the line of scrimmage. I mentioned that false step. Limited route tree. I think that's a little bit of an overassessment when you consider a player like De'Ami Brown. Handling lengthy defenders. Sure. Strengths, strong hands, body control, sideline awareness. In terms of positive EPA against coverage, he had a positive EPA of 56% in his career against zone, which was the 5th highest in this draft class, and a positive EPA of 42% against man coverage, which was the 4th highest in this draft class. He had an average distance of target of 13.1 yards over his career. He had an early breakout age. In the most targets he received was actually his freshman season, 2018, where he had 6 drops, 6 touchdowns, 324 yards after the catch, 380 air yards, 704 yards, 51 completion percentage. So that's an early breakout age. That's why the fantasy gurus love him. A little tidbit of things that I've seen where a lot of guys don't like the fit of Baltimore for Rashod Bateman, whatever. Guess what? He blocks. He works all 3 levels.
Matt Harmon posted that his route efficiency tree where it was like he had literally one aspect of it that was not good, and like the rest of them were like in the green. Like
He has a very balanced, well-rounded, proficient game. He was the one we wanted, and he was the one that we got. Thank you, Eric DaCosta. I'm sure they're high-fiving. Jake and I high-five the fuck out of each other.
That's an iconic clip, by the way. Thank you for taking that.
Of course. We high-fived. It was a weird little angle, but I got it. I figured it would be fun. Us joining stats on the SB Nation show was a hell of a time, and he loved the high-five too.
He did. I think he enjoyed it. That's our guy. We like him a lot, and appreciate him for having us on in a very raw, emotional time.
Ravens are about to be on, or they are on the clock.
They are, yeah.
Ladies and germs. Has to be Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah, I would think so.
And this is stonk.
It is. It would be stonk.
This is stonk.
This is a good stonk, though.
This is stonk.
This is the most ideal stonk that you could have ever imagined.
It is a truly ideal situation. I think this is heaven is a dream on earth. If it's not Jenkins, Merrick.
Yeah, which
awesome.
Would be fucking good too.
Awesome, especially if you have Villanueva, especially if you have Justin Houston. Peyton Turner's gone. That was one option. Dickerson.
Yeah.
Humphrey.
Creed Humphrey, yeah.
Not a lot of ways to go wrong. Both those running backs are off the board. Vaz is living pretty without Greg Rousseau there anymore.
I'm so glad that happened too.
We'll see what happens with Rousseau in that very one gap penetrating style front. Him and AJ Epinesa. I was over the moon for AJ Epinesa. It looked like they made him lose some weight and try to slim down. I don't like that. I thought he was kind of like Rousseau. You want to kick him inside, whatever. But Rashod Bateman, it doesn't even matter, man. Trade out.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to get an offer.
I'm happy.
I don't think they're going to get an offer.
If you don't get an offer, take Tevin Jenkins. That's.
Did we even see Rashod Bateman on the television?
I don't think so. Well, we were also like
me and you were, but for the people, what did Rashod Bateman in the comments? What did we see out of Rashod?
Let
Bateman?
us know if you guys.
What do we have in the comments here as well? As we're.
I'm going to go to the Ravens account, see what Cassie has for us.
Love it, man. Love it. And, immediately on the Instagram, we have our X Factor. The thing is, I think Hollywood is the X Factor. I think that Bateman is that chain mover. I think he's that steady presence.
He didn't know who he was.
For my
He didn't know who he was.
No, he has no clue.
Which is sick.
Mar doesn't watch college football.
Neither do I.
That's true.
Pick is in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's wild, man.
I love it. I love it so much. I can't believe in the words of Nicolas Cage, in the exact opposite words of Nicolas Cage, Eric DaCosta is not going to do what everybody thinks he's going to do and freak out. Well, guess what? I can't believe it. It was like the Steelers went Najee Harris, stonk. The Ravens went Rashod Bateman, stonk. That doesn't happen that often. I guess the Steelers a little bit more so. But unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Jeff C says Ravens are growing defense.
Okay. Tevin Jenkins really taking a slide. Trevon Merrick?
I think so.
Has to be, man.
I'm gonna put my phone
Has
down.
to be.
I'm gonna put my phone down and wait.
Merrick. Away.
Barmore, maybe.
Barmore. Stats really broke it.
He did,
in our
yeah.
faces.
He was on us, yeah.
In our faces. In the first video I posted, was that our reaction? Was that within the first video? Because I posted 2. Okay, it's in the first one.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good reaction video. See, this is what happens when you have Voodoo Joe Flacco live from Bourbon Street. I bought this on Bourbon Street 2 days before the Super Bowl. Good luck. I brought him with us. Rashod Bateman, a Baltimore Raven. It rolls off the tongue. He is going to be a stud.
Sometimes things don't play out the way you planned it. But so what? Georgia quarterback Justin Fields is transferring to Ohio State. When things didn't work out, you found your own path. When there's doubters and skeptics, Justin Fields is able to rise up. Seems like you always find a way. And that's what's going to allow you to put your own stamp in the league. I can't wait.
So I'm going to get into my article. I guess it's Kyle's the only one who has a password as well. I don't think Jake did that in that set amount of time. So off the bat, I said Rashod Bateman is a 6'1", 210 receiver. That's not true. He's 6 foot, somewhere around the 193 range. He set the freshman receiving records at Minnesota for both yards and receptions, 704 yards, 51 receptions. It was arguably the best receiving season in Minnesota history. His sophomore year, 60 receptions, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. He was the Big Ten Rector Howard Receiver of the Year. He was a third-team All-American. He's from Georgia. He's from Georgia. He's a 21-year-old. I said he has the most polished route runner. I said he was among the most polished route runners in recent draft memory. His double moves are effortless, smooth with strategy. He runs sluggos or pokos the exact same way as he would run a slant or a post. Jason Owe. That's going to be really tougher. That was a big mock pick as well. Oh, boy. That one's difficult. Owe has been mocked to the Ravens a lot. The athletic measurables are – here's what we got. I'm ready for this. The measurables are what Justice Mosqueda of Bleacher Report calls a force player, a player who has change of direction ability, has length, and has explosive ability. You can measure that in testing. If you have a sub-7 3-cone, if you have a 38-inch plus vertical 38 or 10-foot broad jump, and you have 33 or higher inch arm or longer inch arms, you are going to be a problem in the NFL. Most of the NFL's most disruptive, most effective pass rushers at the edge position, the outside linebackers and defensive ends, hit those bars. A Harvard study from 2005 to 2013 found that players who had a sub-7 2-3 cone with a 9'9" broad jump had an average of 21.5 sacks over their rookie contract, 4 years, their first 4 years. Players that did not meet either of those thresholds had an average of 7.5 sacks. He is basically the antithesis of Jalen Ferguson. I like to say religion versus science, film and production versus measurables. With that being said, Jason Owe is not a bad run defender by any stretch of the imagination. He can hold the edge. He can pursue from the backside. He has some processing issues. He is an unfinished product. He has only been playing football for 5 years. I'm a little bit surprised because typically the Ravens have a threshold, and of course, Jake did a good job of saying that was Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
That was Ozzie Newsome. Usually the Ravens go 33 plus inch arms. Away checks that. Usually the Ravens go 22 tackles for loss. I think he's right around that. And usually they have at least an 8-sack season. Away had 5 sacks in 2019. It's 0 in 2020. With that being said, a ton of pressure, a ton of disruption, a very capable player as the Bucs pick.
Fuck.
Joe Tryon.
He's going to be sick there.
He will. So they opted for OA over. And what did I say? I thought that this would be a good time for a one for now, one for later.
Yeah, it's the David Fincher, you know.
The David Fincher.
One for you, one for me. And that's what this is. And you know, I didn't want OA. I'll be, you know, pretty upfront about that. I think I was upfront about that before. It just felt like there was kind of like a what does this guy bring immediately? Like it just feels like an athletic freak that you're taking that you're trying to figure it out with. But after they did what they did with Bateman, I'm 100% okay with it. I am 100% okay with it because you took care of the glaring issue that you needed to take care of. You had to do that. You 100% had to do it. And if you want to go back to your roots after that and you want to do the one for me, one for you thing and take a guy in OA who's an athletic freak.
First edge taken in the first round since Sizzle.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a long ass time. That's almost 20 years.
Antithesis of Sizzle.
Yeah, and he 100% is. So like we're gonna see what happens.
Hey, guess what? We're going beers for Jason OA.
Oh, we are.
We're
Okay.
not giving negative vibes.
I'll do one. We have to do a podcast here too.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Jason OA, a Baltimore Raven, love it. I don't actually love it, but I love the fact that I imagine the Ravens have a plan. I think that the fact that he is a more polished run defender makes you a lot more comfortable with him. And guess what? Azeez Ojulari didn't go in the first round. Azeez Ojulari doesn't have the functional strength that Jason OA has. Does he have the polish with hands? Yes, he does. Yes, he absolutely does. But a little bit of a surprise. I think he was mocked a lot to the Ravens. Really just to the Ravens.
He was.
OA. A lot of Draft Network guys did that.
And Voss has been comparing him with Rousseau and saying, like, if you're going to take one risk, it should be on OA. So I'll trust Voss on that one, and I'll see what happens. Like, I didn't have, like...
Religion versus science.
Exactly,
Film versus film and production versus analytics.
Yeah, I didn't have any, really super negative thoughts on OA.
I'm just cheersing you.
I didn't have any super negative thoughts on OA.
I hope you guys are taking a drink with us if you can. If you don't want to, I hope you're having a sip of water. Jason OA.
Drive safely. That's all we ask.
Jason OA. Rashod Bateman.
OA. Very sick.
Cheers.
Very nice.
OA. No way, OA. One for now, one for later. We're using a terrible towel to wipe this shit up.
You're fucking right.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Najee Harris, have fun with Jason OA. Bud Dupree-esque a little bit.
Which, you know, that's not the worst first round pick in the world. Like, especially not late.
It's interesting that as we talked, Azeez Ojulari, the issues in terms of medicals, you know, we don't have that intel. We just hear what we get told. But Joe Tryon, we hear at the last second, is a guy who has a meniscus and still goes in the first round over Azeez Ojulari. I think it's the size, and I hope Azeez Ojulari has a little bit of extra chip on his shoulder, whatever. He can maybe take that. But I'm happy that the Ravens, I think I like OA over Ojulari. I would have preferred Peyton Turner. We're talking edges. I would have preferred Kwity Paye gone. I would have preferred Jalen Phillips gone.
Yeah, guys that went before Bateman too. So it's like, what are you gonna do at that point? You know, it's just I'm very happy with the way this turned out, to be honest. I'm very happy.
OA is an ascending player. I don't love his processing. I don't think he's there in terms of. I don't think you can go stick him in. This is what I'm gonna say, by the way. He's not starting week 1, 2021. I don't think he's starting week 4. I don't think he's starting week 6. Week 10, I could see him integrating. The things that I can't measure, that I'm not, qualified to, I would love to be, and hopefully one day that's where my life takes me. But whiteboard, understanding of schemes, concepts, responses to offense, position drills. I haven't seen those. All that kind of shit. I don't have that. Medicals. Guess what? I bet away is medically golden.
Handshake deal with Justin Houston might be in the cards, as Clay points out.
Yeah. Or Ryan Kerrigan. Or Melvin Ingram.
Right. Yeah, he's still out there too. That's fucking wild.
So guess what? Mother truckers, Villanueva, Houston, Bateman, away. Away again is the one where it's for later.
That's fine with me. Rashod Bateman, watching the Ravens the last couple of years, I see nothing but amazing things that he's looking forward to chasing a Super Bowl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rashod. I appreciate that.
I love you, Rashod. I'm getting a Bateman jersey.
I fucking might.
We're getting matching Bateman jerseys.
You're fucking right. We are. I'm in
Black
Oh,
or white?
do black.
Black.
I might do white though because I got the black Lamar.
I have a black Lamar as well. White Bateman.
I'll do a white, dude. White's clean.
White Bateman. I put a moratorium on myself. I said I wouldn't wear a Ravens jersey until the Ravens won a playoff game. I think I fucked up a little bit. This is my ego, but they won against the Titans, and I went a little too stitious and continued only wearing my tie-dye hat. I didn't put the jersey on. I should have put the jersey on.
It's okay. Listen, it's all a process. Life is not about results.
So let's
it's
see
about.
Keep going. Give me more morals while I pull it up.
Life is not about results. It's about doing the right thing and having the right process and having the right ideas behind what you're doing. And I think that tonight is a good indication that our boy EDC does have the right idea. So, especially even with the OA pick, I mean, it's a little experimental, but like he's gambling a little bit. He's banking on something, which I kind of like, to be honest. Like, it's not what I would have done necessarily, but it's something. Is Tevin Jenkins still on the board going into round 2?
Yeah.
He starts to fall a little bit. You got 2 third-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks, 2 fifth-round picks.
They're not taking Jenkins. If you pass on him, you're not trading up for him.
You might not.
I don't think that's.
There are other players though. There's Creed Humphrey. There's Landon Dickerson. There are guys.
So I lost my bet of linemen.
You did.
I won my bet of Kyle Pitts.
Yes.
I tied for first in my bet of top 15 draft order. So I made a $100 and some bucks. Okay, I'm happy. So Jason Owe. Run game out of the SIS handbook reported by John Todd. I'm gonna read it all for you folks. Run game, an impressive understanding of run defense in his brief experience. He fires into contact, does a good job of stalemating against most competition, especially higher end competition. Head up, run anchor, doesn't hold along the interior, but he sets a firm and concise edge on the perimeter. He will lose the ball on misdirections, but he does a good job to stack, read with his eyes, and make easy work of shedding with his length. He sticks to the hip beautifully, physically dominating most tight ends. His technical skill set manifests itself against the run very well. His hands are active, and he attacks with excellent tackling range and pursuit. His 4.3 speed translates into his calm but decisive pursuit. His length and closing speed allow him to pinch run lanes and finish with an offhand. Most impressively chases down screens and ball carriers sideline to sideline like an off-ball linebacker, but he has the intangibles against the run of an edge.
I like it. Listen, I like it. It's
Who we got on, Voz?
another friend of the show.
Who we got? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not a certainty yet.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope so.
It'll be fun.
So here's what we got. I'm going to keep reading them off to you out of the SIS handbook, folks. We watch a lot of film. Pass game. Owa has room to improve as a pass rusher. His tools in this area are worth betting on. Explosive lower half. This was prior to testing, too. This book came out prior to his testing. Explosive lower half does not gain great depth in his first step or find himself first off the ball consistently. His stance could easily be improved at the NFL level. His play diagnosis is weak, but you see flashes. He often bites on play action and hesitates when left uncovered to assess. Away flashes mismatch potential. Blah, 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 blah. You guys don't want to hear me read it all. But again, Zadarius Smith was more raw than him. Pernell McPhee was more raw than him. Matt Judon was more raw than him. His fundamental structure or fundamental technique as a run defender is a lot higher than you'll hear Bucky Brooks or anyone bring up.
So my main question here is he a truck or a trailer? Which is, of course, everyone needs to know that. No, I'm just kidding.
That actually is a good question to ask about him.
Okay.
And I think the answer is that, I thought this was a little bit of bullshit, but a lot of people said Wink Martindale probably really wants him with a firm plan in mind.
Okay.
So I have to think that's the case.
Could be.
Maybe that's a little inside intel. And boom, now my Joe Tryon clips are going off. This is why I do it.
DaCosta, this is a year where things fell the way we wanted it to fall. We're excited. Cool, man. Let me see if we can pull up some of these Jason Owe highlights.
Oop.
Okay, thank you, YouTube, for having these stupid fucking ads. All right. Clay, if there is a position that I am confident that we develop well, it would be pass rushers.
Well, I have the first thing that comes to mind off of that is that, and thank you, Clay, for keeping us going.
That's our guy. We love him.
The first thing I would say off of that is that the Ravens haven't taken an edge in the first round in 18 years. 18 years.
2000.
Got one of those kids, got you for 18 years.
God damn. That's a throwback.
So I think you're right, Clay. I think Zadarius Smith, Matt Judon immediately come to mind. But again, Away is a Power 5 player at Penn State. Penn State and Minnesota, two schools. Minnesota, what, 1, 2 Ravens ever drafted there? Not 3. Not 3. No. Penn State, 3, I think. Yeah. Can't think of who it is, but I don't think it's more than 3.
I have no idea. You got Trace. I mean,
I said this I think there might have been 2 in the 90s, early 2000s area. But anyway, 2 places that aren't terribly familiar. And that's why, Jake, again, I keep pointing back to this point. And Jake, this is the thing about this podcast is that you make like a point into my mouth vomit, my word vomit, once every like 2 weeks that always resonates. And then we always bring up and then it always comes to fruition. And I think it's like, DaCosta isn't Ozzie all the way. We get 2 more Power 5 players, 2 Big Ten players, and neither of them are from schools that Ozzie predominantly picked from. So not that that's something insane, but I think it's a good point. The nuance of DaCosta is a little bit different from Ozzie in ways. We were talking with Vaz earlier about there's been no small school guys, but overall, comments that I've made that might bite me in the ass. OA does not play like he runs a 4-3. I have not seen a 4-3 player.
I agree with that. Like that was kind of my issue watching him. I was like, you know what, this guy, like he Seems like he's
4'5".
he's got some
4'6".
speed. It's just like, yeah, I just felt a little bit of workout warrior vibes, which was kind of my issue. But
And you'll notice, and I think this is part of, I believe he's only played football since he was 17 or something, whatever. But I think you'll end up seeing a lot of clips where he's the unblocked defender against the option, where it's like teams are betting on him to make a mistake. And I think he did do a good job surfing. It's called against the option, which is where you sit with wide legs and crab walk down the line. You pause with the quarterback while maintaining the ability to close and pursue the running back against read option stuff, whatever. He played with Micah Parsons, who was rubbing his dick against people in the locker room. So I like that because I think that brings a big football guy mentality of doing some weird shit in the locker room.
that's wild, man. Really?
Micah Parsons has character.
Oh yeah, he's got like hazing. Shit
So
against him,
a 4-star transferred from Penn State because Yeturgros Matos, who was on the Panthers, and Micah Parsons, among others, were hazing him. And apparently Parsons and Yeturgros Matos were like pushing him to a corner and sticking their dicks in his face and doing some saucy shit.
it just feels like you maybe don't need to do that. But,
No, you definitely don't need to. But Penn State does some weird shit. Happy Valley's a crazy ass place.
Oh yeah, for sure. We all know about that.
Well,
I mean,
I didn't even think about that. But this is what OA gives you as a pass rusher right now, I think. I think it is when the pocket breaks down, he is the ultimate closer. Not that he is going to win off of the initial fight, that he's going to have a high pass rush win rate within those 2.5 seconds. But I think that when the pocket breaks down, he is the one who can go chase down a quarterback. And that's okay. That's all right. Again, one for now, one for later. As long as the Ravens took Rashod Bateman, they could have taken Pat Freiermuth or Nick Bolton or Javonte Williams, and I think a lot of us still would have been very happy.
who is the first impact player that they could take on day 2 that you could realistically see them taking, whether that's via a trade up?
Liam McNeil.
Okay. Is that going to be via a trade up that you could dictate the terms on, or what do you think?
I think we saw Justin Matabuike fought a 74, right around there. You're usually pretty good at like getting the exact one.
Yeah, he was up in there. He was
70?
he was 70. I think, was he 75 and Dobbins was the later one, or was it the other way
Dobbins
around?
was 50.
I think Dobbins was
5?
55 and he was 60. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No. They traded out of 60 into the 3rd round.
Okay, so that was
That they traded and then took Dobbins as well.
Okay.
But McNeil, Chris Tonga, receivers off the board. We don't have to think about that for the rest of the draft, so I'm excited about that. I need a quick bathroom break.
Okay, rock and roll.
Did we start recording?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some time. Send me your questions if you have them. You filthy animals. Clay. I just think about how many left and got paid in free agency. I'm not sure what that refers to. I would assume pass rushers. Yeah. Heavy Lobster 43. We'll get a good O-line player in the 3rd, considering how deep that class is and how many of them fell. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there are definitely some guys still out there. Tevin Jenkins did not get picked. Creed Humphrey did not get picked. Landon Dickerson did not get picked. Rock, R-A-C-H. Between Judon and Smith, we picked the wrong guy to keep. Only Smith looks like did well. Between Judon and Smith, we picked the wrong guy. Not following that. Cody McGowan, Mac Williams from Minnesota. Yep. Clay Sowers, big football guy. Yes. Marcus Wilson, if we can develop Judon into it. If we could develop Judon into a stud, what could we do with an actual athletic freak going to fit great into wing system? Yeah, I could see that argument for sure. Judon, a small school guy. He was an athlete, though. Judon was a beast. So, you're maybe talking about doing the same thing. Mitchell Christie, that's what I'm saying. Athletic freak. Very versatile too. I see him playing okay in coverage.
The thing with OA is that like the measurables are there, and it goes against the Ravens' typical we don't care about measurables principles, but I think it's DaCosta emerging through Ozzie. But I don't see a 4-3 player. I don't see any of those measurables on tape right now. And again, I'm okay because Bateman is a 1 for now. And I'm going to keep going back to that. So what else do we got here? I think the sacks are... So we got Trayvon Dawson. And how do you feel about 0 sacks? Probably Jake might have already gotten to that one. I preferred Rousseau. Rousseau was already gone. Yada, yada, yada. So OA does get pressure. He does have the ability to two-hand swipe around the outside a little bit. The 3-cone is ridiculous, and there are some pursuit intangibles there. I hope Tevin Jenkins isn't a great player, because if OA is not a solid starter and Jenkins is a very good starter, that would be a mishap. But if you feel that you have Villanueva or Kelly from the Titans coming in to make an impact and immediately going to be the starter, you feel like you can go find a Spencer Brown, a Larnell Coleman, a Dan Moore, another tackle with length that can be a swing tackle, all of that good stuff. You're fine. Clay, DaCosta said it's unlikely they trade up. If they're smitten, because this is the thing with that. If the Ravens are not lying to us, which we did get lied to about the insulting comments, if they're not lying to us, they had about 200 players on their board. If they're not
It's
lying
quite
to
insulting. I'm insulted by it too, to be honest.
then the Browns, for instance, had 110 players on their board, 120. If other team, I view this as a more shallow class in terms of number of prospects overall. Again, I watched maybe 160 guys, not 700. So that's not a great perspective, but they've got a lot of picks. I think 2 first-round picks, you're probably pretty happy. If they took away, I think they're really happy, and I think they have a plan for him. So all that good stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of takes about OA, about the sack thing, and I don't want to really talk about that much. I think it's going to be a lot overstated. Again, I think sacks are a very inconsistent stat, especially in college. And I think that there's going to be a lot of overkill about that. I guarantee if you turn on 105.7 at 6:30 a.m., Ed Norris and whoever the fuck is on there right now, it's going to be like, I like the Bateman kid, but, the 0 sacks 2020, what are you doing here, Eric DaCosta? I guarantee that Baltimore Sun, the hell's his name?
Jonas?
No.
Preston.
He's going to be absolutely...
Yeah, well, the Ravens, they should have done this, but they did not. And see, we like Mike on the spot, so we're not going to go too nuts, but...
Mike
Preston.
Mike Preston. Mike Preston. I couldn't even remember his surname. We love Mike.
Are we gonna do this reaction pod here before?
Yeah, let's do this reaction pod. Keep the listeners on us.
Yeah, you guys are on, but we're recording the podcast now. In 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome on back to another edition of the Baltimore Beatdown podcast. It is Friday, April 31st. April showers. Bring May flowers. I fucking crushed that. As the Baltimore Ravens have closed out the first round with 2 players picked. The first one being Rashod Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. The second one being Jason Away out out of Penn State. So 2 players picked, one an edge, little developmental prospect. The other one a wide receiver, a little fan favorite of myself and my co-host here. So fun night, and we're here to break it down for y'all.
So we thought that number 1, Rashod Bateman. Thank you very much, Eric DaCosta. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're not insulted. We're insulted. We're not insulted. We're insulted.
It's quite insulting. I'm insulted by it too, to be honest.
Deion Kane is insulted. Antoine Wesley is insulted, but Eric DaCosta is not. He does not care what you think. He put on a liar's luncheon and got our necks. Rashod Bateman, a 3-level receiver who is going to kick some ass, man. I feel like this is a scenario. Ravens fans love Corey Davis a few years ago. Corey Davis.
They loved him this year.
I love Corey Davis. I bet you did too.
I did. Yeah.
PJ Fleck coached him. PJ Fleck coached.
Row the boat, man. Who did he coach
Who do you love?
this year?
Rashod Bateman, last couple years. So felt like all right, the Ravens were picking 16 then? Somewhere around there. That was the Marlin year.
Yeah, that was 17. That was
17.
Marlon Humphrey. Yep.
See, this is why I need you. You're always the exact one. And so everybody was like, Corey Davis. Yeah, good option. Corey Davis ends up going top 5.
Which he should not have done, to be fair to everyone.
No, John Ross should not have gone top 10. Mike Williams, I could definitely support Mike Williams being a top 10 pick. Then, anyway, don't need to argue about that or anything. A couple years later, Rashod Bateman's not 6'3". He's 6 foot. He's not 210. He's 195. But you sit tight. You get the guy that wins at every single level. He wins underneath. He wins in the intermediate. He wins deep. He can fuck up some commas, fuck up some llamas, and beat some zone coverage. You got him. The Ravens fans asked and they received. That's value, man. I thought he was going to go in the second round. I thought the Ravens might pass over him, but we ended up doing our final prediction. Jake was on it for, you listened to the last episode. Jake gave it at the beginning of the episode. I think he gave it 3 episodes prior to that, maybe consecutively. And Rashod Bateman, he thought the Ravens would trade up maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 picks for it. And I jumped on the boat to row the boat with PJ Fleck at the last second. And there we go. Then the Ravens end up supplementing that with Jason Owe, who is a relatively new football player, who is a top 5 tester in this class in terms of speed, in terms of agility, in terms of explosion, in terms of size. So you get what we said. If you're on the stream with us, you've been here with us for a while. If you're just listening to us, we called it the one for now, one for later. Rashod Bateman helps now. Jason Owe helps a little bit now, helps a lot later. You have to have a plan for Jason Owe, someone who needs to be developed. But they took nearly a 10 RAS athlete at edge. The only other one that they've taken in the Harbaugh era who had above a 9 RAS is Tyus Bowser. Guess who's the only Raven to get a second contract in the Harbaugh era at the edge position? Tyus Bowser. Did they want to keep Judon? Sure. Did they want to keep Paul Kruger or Courtney Upshaw? Whatever, sure. But Jason Owe, a player who has a formidable base, fundamentally as a run defender. He's not going to be a cover. You look at 4-3, you see 4-3, you see some intangibles. I don't think he's going to be a coverage guy. I think that's Bowser. Is he going to drop and do some things? Yes. Is he going to cover in man? No. Is he going to be developed into a stud, hopefully by year 3? Yes, absolutely. The Ravens have 29 players under contract for next year. And of course, there's RFAs, there's whatever. They'll re-sign Lamar, they'll re-sign Mark Andrews, yada. Jason Owe is someone that you look at and think that he could be the answer in year 3 to your Terrell Suggs hopes and dreams. That's a big development. That's a lot of Wink Martindale proving his salt. That's a lot of your defensive coaching staff proving their salt. But overall, Rashod Bateman, Jason Owe, Baltimore Ravens, Big Ten players. We love it.
Chris Sims. The Ravens got an absolute stud in Jason Owe. Don't be fooled by the no sack storyline. He is just an awesome disruptive football player. One of my favorite defensive guys in the draft. Ravens continue to purge the biggest and baddest dudes on the planet. So Chris is controversial in a lot of people's eyes. I love him. He's my guy. I think he just forms his opinions based off what he sees. And, you know, I didn't love OA, and, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll certainly see what happens. What I did see was a athletic freak who was just fucking out there and just doing what he thought he had to do. And like, I didn't really see the technique. I didn't see the you know, oomph that you needed out of a top pick. I didn't see that necessarily. But
I don't see him putting people on their asses.
Right, exactly. I didn't see the power. I didn't see that kind of stuff that you would want to see out of that potential top tier.
That's why they take William Bradley King on day 2.
Exactly. So maybe that'll happen, but you're
not going to happen.
It's probably not. But that's why you bring back a Tyus Bowser. And that's why you have what you have on defense. And that's why you go in on offense. And like, I'm not going to be pissed off because they took my guy, Rashod Bateman. Like, I'm not going to sit here.
I'm not pissed off about Jason Owe at all.
No,
I'm not pissed off about
not
him
even
at all.
close. Not even close. Not even close.
No,
not even fucking close.
No.
You got Rashod Bateman at pick 27. You can do whatever you want. You could have taken a kicker, and I would have been fine if you would.
Sebastian Janikowski Jr. Come on down.
Yeah, like Rashod Bateman. That's literally all that I wanted. You had to fix this problem at wide receiver. I think that you managed to do that with Rashod Bateman
And Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
This makes Sammy Watkins sweet. This makes him blackberry sweet. This makes him a strawberry, because what did we say? We said if Sammy Watkins is the only move, that's not enough. But if he is in company with a high draft pick or another veteran, you fucking nailed it.
And we talked about one draft pick in particular that would probably be the correct pick. And
lo and behold, here we are. We love it. Jake was on it. Jake killed it. Jake gave the continuous, similar to Mel Kiper on Patrick Queen last year. I think Jake went all of April. You know, whenever we had these questions, we do the mailbags. They became a little sparse through the beatdown big board and all that stuff. And shout out to the Instagram guys. Shout out to the Twitter guys. You guys picked him. He became the perfect prospect. He became the pick. Everybody feels good about it. But Jake was on that train for sure. And hell yeah. It's not often that the Ravens do what everybody else wants them to do. But it felt like the right move with him on the board. Not having to make a move. Having another pick where you can maybe trade out. Where you can maybe get an edge. Where you can maybe get a lineman. And bango, bango, boom. Jason Owe and Rashod Bateman, Baltimore Ravens. Rashod Bateman is going to make an immediate impact in year 1.
He is. He 100% is. And I think Owe is probably going to make a little bit of an impact as well.
Absolutely.
Who knows what it's going to be? Like, right? Maybe that's a couple sacks, which
300 snaps, 3.5 sacks, a few tackles for loss, and a pick. And Jason Owe is, ready to go.
Yeah, right. It's just,
It's
that's pretty much, that's all you can ask for. And that's
you got Pernell McPhee. Now you've got this athletic freak who can take some snaps, run around in the early weeks and take his lumps and do all that shit, and go get Justin Houston, man. Go get Alejandro Villanueva. Go get a safety. Trevon Merrick's still on the board.
He really is. And
Ravens aren't going to get him. That's fine.
2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s. If one of those guys falls,
they need 2 of those to be hits. They need 2 hits throughout the rest of the draft. Away, is he a hit? That is up for debate.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's a gamble
for sure. So,
but like I've literally been saying this all off season. Like, I don't care what they do on defense,
as long as they address the offense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care what they do there. I don't care what they do along certain spots on the offensive line. Just take what people consider to be a sure thing on offense, and particularly at the skill positions, because like you have not shown inability to figure it out at the skill positions. You have shown inability to do so at like some of these other spots. So like edge, one of them, Jason Owe, he's got the tools. We'll see what he can do.
They have a plan.
It's a gamble.
For him. They have a plan for Owe. There's no way you don't take Owe without a plan.
There's no way.
And I promise you, I've watched a little Owe. I would consider him one of the top 40, 50 players I've watched the most tape on. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go give you the fucking clips. whatever. I'm going to tell you strengths, weaknesses, whatever, but it doesn't matter because he is the for later player. He is the player that there is a plan in mind for. They must love him on the chalkboard, on the whiteboard, whatever you want to call it, and find him to be disruptive. We got Mac Jones, a New England Patriot. What are the other fun picks of the first round?
Mac Jones was actually kind of wild.
Of course, Justin Fields of the Bears.
Justin Fields was sick. Good for Bears fans. Hopefully their quarterback situation is going to be resolved
for the first time in franchise history.
Yeah. It was pretty kind of a stonk round one though, other than those guys.
Eric Stokes went to he got drafted.
Yeah, he did.
20s. Alex Leatherwood, 17.
You get the corners a little bit out of order there with J.C. Horn going to the Panthers, and then
Kadarius Toney went where Peter Schrager, the guy with the face, thought that he would go.
He did. Yeah, my man Schrags is fucking all over it.
Caleb Farley getting up in there in the first round. The Vikings they trade back and probably get their guy in Darisaw, a hell of a move. Greg Newsome to the Browns. That was a move that, Justin Fields talking that shit with his fucking, he looks weird there, but whatever. Justin Fields talking that shit. Greg Newsome to the Browns, a player who feels like he can be diverse as opposed to Denzel Ward, who's going to be an impressed man. You can then have Newsome in off coverage. There's not a lot of pressure on him. I think they killed that pick for sure. Eric DeCosta says he doesn't think they're going to trade up. And I think that's cool. Cool with that.
I'm with it too. I mean, like, you're talking about, like, how many impact players do you need? You need 4, Voss keeps saying. You got...
in this draft.
I would think you got 2 already so far. So...
safety, I think you can go get James Wiggins, Hamza Nasildreen, a Divine Diablo. You can double down on edge if you want. Get someone like Joseph Asai maybe a little bit later. And I had Owe ahead of a Joseph Asai. I think I had it. Adelari, Rousseau, Owe. And that's because I don't know the plan in place for Owe. I think he's going to be one of the more polarizing defensive picks in Ravens history. Maybe Matt Elam takes the cake there. Maybe Arthur Brown takes the cake there. But seeing what he can do, that combine, the athletic ability. You've got a Herculean Greek god to work with. So you better make something out of it, or else you look a little bit silly.
You certainly do. And we've got the highlights pulled up now of the other Greek god there that you got, man. Look at this guy.
Reggie Wayne Jr.
Dude, this is this is a good draft. Like, I'm happy. I'm really, really, really happy.
I'm not mad. I'll tell you that much. I'm not mad at all in any way, shape, or form. I don't think anyone in Ravens Nation is mad.
Nor should they be. You got, and like the OA thing with like the one for me later, like that's certainly correct. But with those athletic measurables, I feel like Wink Martindale could maybe find a way to get him involved in 2021.
It's a different take than the Ravens have had this entire time. And we've talked about that. Jake, you nailed it. Eric DeCosta is not Ozzie Newsome, but OA can just in measurables. And considering, again, I'm going to say he has a strong starting point as a run defender. That's where the ceiling and floor get lost. You look at sacks, but you don't look at him against inside zone, able to go be a, you call Rashod Bateman what is it called? Shafua. He doesn't have soft hands, he has violent hands, so he's a Vapua. Vapua? Why did that tickle you so much? Vagina boo?
Well, it makes me think of the other acronym that is close to that. FU,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. but he's got violent hands and he can fuck some shit up. So him against inside zone is probably a little bit better than him against an NFL lineman in a true pass set. But he's got length, he's got strength, he's got explosion, he's got agility, he's got all that good stuff. I'm trying to think of a comparison for a player like him, man. It really doesn't exist. He jumped 11 feet broad and 40 inches in the vert with 35-inch arms and runs a fucking 4.3. It's like Calvin Johnson. Like, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's like, a defense that we've talked about the whole Harbaugh thing and like the tryhards. Like, this feels like kind of the opposite of that in some extents. So, I'll be interested to see what they're trying to do from day one, because Jalen Ferguson had to work his way in. You've had a ton of other guys that have had to take the same route. It feels like this guy, with the needs they have at edge, like he's going to need to be counted on. So we're going to see what happens with him.
We got Rashod Bateman.
It's like, I want to give like comments on like Jason Oweh and like all that.
It like detracts from it, and I literally, this is going to sound shitty, but I literally don't fucking care. They could have taken Devontae Williams. They could have taken Pat Fryermuth. They could have taken Nick Bolton. They could have given a little bit of the rhythm of chickadee China, the Chinese chicken, catch a drum chicken. I don't care what happens after Rashod Bateman. I don't care.
They did it. They figured it out.
And I just don't. Rashod Bateman is a disappointment if he doesn't catch 50 passes and provide a chain-moving presence. I just don't see him. He's one of the most scheme-versatile receivers. I don't see him being someone that can't provide you with chain-moving ability, some red zone ability, reactiveness, yards after the catch. Like, he has such a well-balanced game in the Big Ten. I like Big Ten receivers too, very much so. Overall, I don't know. The only thing, Garnett pointed it out. He's got a little false step, but what does Rashod Bateman not do at an above average level, at a good level? SIS has corners with length. Well, guess what? He'll move inside. He can come in motion. He can do all kinds of things. He is just such a perfect medium between Hollywood Brown and Miles Boykin and Mark Andrews and then even Sammy Watkins. He is such an versatile Goldilocks piece. He's Goldilocks. I said it before. I said it on the stream. He's fucking Goldilocks, man. He is Goldilocks in this offense. Minnesota ran RPOs. He can run double moves. He can work at all three levels. Rashod Bateman.
EDC knows receivers like better than Ozzie did, at the very least. He knows them. He knew Hollywood Brown, who was a good pick. He knew Miles Boykin, decent pick, whatever. It's fine. He might be out of town soon, whatever. He knew Devin Duvernay, hopefully decent pick. James Prochet, whatever. That was probably worth the trade up that they did. So we'll see. And this is 100% worth it. You're talking about a guy who can make plays at all three levels, unlike some of these other dudes who have to have the situation be perfect for them. This guy sticks his arms out and makes plays on the ball. He does what he has to do, man. I fucking love him. I'm very excited. I'm incredibly excited about the fact that for the first time in what seems like an extremely long time, the obvious move, the obvious pick that just fell into their lap, they just said, you know what, we're just going to do it, and that's the end of it. We're not going to overthink it. We're not going to take some defensive back from wherever. We're just going to take the wide receiver that's pretty fucking good and probably going to be really good for this team for a long time.
Probably won't be shitty.
Yeah, which, you want that, don't you? You kind of want that with a quarterback.
He probably won't be shitty, more so than he probably will be good. He probably won't suck. He definitely won't suck.
A really good possession receiver that's going to go for 900 and 9 touchdowns. That is all I wanted.
Body control, yak. All of it is good. It's all 7s and 8s. Across the board, it's all 7s and 8s. He ran that 4.39, and it was like my favorite thing about Rashod Bateman's pre-draft process. He ran that 4.39, and people were like, "That's a pro day 4.39. That's not what I saw in the film. That's not." And then lo and behold, you watch him just run away from people over and over and over and over again. And I'll tell you what, put me on freezing cold takes. I am very happy it wasn't Terrace Marshall. I'm very happy it was Rashod Bateman.
I am too. You're talking about
Those were the two guys. Maybe you throw De'Ami Brown in there, which I think is cool too. I would probably prefer De'Ami Brown to Terrace Marshall.
I think so too. I think Terrace Marshall, God bless him. I hope he does well in life, but it didn't really work. It didn't work for the Ravens. Like, that's just not what they needed. That's not what they needed, even in the slightest.
No, they did not. Boz wants to get up in here. Get him the fuck up in here.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Fuck it.
Why not? So here we are. And folks, I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to dive into Jason Elway. His film is my bitch. His film is my bitch. He's not my bitch. He could murder me in hand-to-hand combat quickly, thoroughly. But I am going to rock Jason Elway's film until the break of dawn. After that, well past it. I'm going to give you all the Jason Elway content. I'm going to write some Rashod Bateman articles. You guys have already seen those. I already did a profile on him. Everybody's happy. Blah, 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 blah. He has a false step. It's the only thing I saw. I said that in the article. I think everybody's happy to have him. It was hilarious that Lamar and Hollywood were talking. And Lamar was like, who they got? Who they got?
That boy from Minnesota, Rashod Bateman.
Cold like Minnesota. So love that stuff. Gonna go probably heavier into Jason Elway over the next day or two. And that's where we're at. We're gonna have a fat end of day 2, early day 3. See who the Ravens rattle off. See if the Ravens finally take some non-Power 5 players. It is what it is. Get the papers. And we are going to crush over the next couple of days. Baltimore Beatdown's got all your content.
I'm going to go get the papers.
Michael Strahan's drinking some dirty cola. Kevin Hart, why the fuck is he here? No one ever knows. But he makes everybody giggle. Mark Wahlberg going full Dirk Diggler. What the hell is going on here on NFL Network? Julian Edelman is going to have a hell of an NFL analysis career. I'll tell you that much.
He really is. If he wants it, he's gonna be crushing the old analysis game.
And I did right. My duty for Baltimore Beatdown is to do the why the Ravens drafted each player. And I wrote ahead of time. Let's see when the last check was. I'm going to log on to Chorus. It was 5:41 p.m. I wrote why the Ravens picked Rashod Bateman, the former Gopher, and his likely impact will be. That's all I have so far, but I promise you it'll get deep.
Engraven Vids loves the Bateman pick. We love you, brother.
We love Engraven Vids. He has the brightest, most awesome, fun smile of anyone in the entire world.
He does. He's a good content guy. I'm a fan.
He's a content king. Absolute content king. I want somebody give us a we hate Rashod Bateman. Somebody do it. Somebody do it.
I would challenge. We
won't contest it. We just need someone. There's never been a more unanimously loved Ravens pick.
Which makes me a tad bit nervous, but
I'm not nervous.
I'm really not. I'm just saying that because of the fact that
he's like if Miles Boykin was Miles Boykin.
Right.
There he is.
Look at this.
There he is.
Look at
this.
Oh, we got another one too here. What's going on with this now?
Oh.
Look at this guy.
What's going on?
Hot.
How do I make the screen bigger for myself? I'm on my phone here. I got Taylor Smythe with me.
Oh,
Taylor
Smythe. How about that?
We're just
doing?
Good, man. How about you?
Dog. We're doing well.
We're waiting for the Uber outside. Did you say Uber? Say Uber.
You did say Uber. I'll say that.
You're on the
My brain
YouTube.
is so melted right now. I'm all drafted out. Yeah.
You're all Cedric Mullins drafted out.
What do you boys think of the? What do you boys think of these two picks here?
overall, like, filled some needs here. We like the Bateman pick a lot more, obviously.
Yeah.
Always a bit of a project, but he's got all kinds of scouting reports on these guys. Big Ten football guy over there.
I think Bateman's a guy. I was saying to these guys, overall, I think he can kind of do it all. I think the Ravens have a lot of receivers right now that do one thing really well. Like, Hollywood's a speedster, Miles Boykin's a big, tall target, Duvernay's a slot in possession. I think Bateman can move all the way around.
Sammy Watkins is a lizard.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins.
Or Lizard King, yeah.
Yeah, or hurt. So I think Bateman's a guy that elevated Minnesota sort of by himself to a certain extent for the last 2 or 3 years.
100%.
So I'm excited about him. I think overall, I just said to him, like, I think there were some certain needs that the Ravens needed: edge rusher, receiver, offensive tackle. And I think these two were the ones they couldn't address for the remainder of free agency as well as they could in the draft. So both picks made sense. The no sacks thing is wild. I'm sure you guys have talked about that. I can't believe that guy hasn't fallen into
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
As Wink Martindale says, fuck sacks.
Fuck sacks.
does he say that?
That's what Matt Judon said that at the table tonight.
Yeah, he did say
Fuck
that.
12, fuck sacks.
Was Matt Judon there?
Matt Judon was here. Like, he was just hanging out with Hollywood and Marlon.
Rock on. That's wild, man.
It feels like he really didn't want to leave Baltimore.
Not really much of a reaction to the Mac Jones pick either.
From
him.
I guess he's his teammate now, right?
Yeah,
he didn't react to it at all.
Nothing.
Marlon reacted to it more.
I think he got his bag, and that he's just
He might not be on the team.
What the hell's going on here? The
I
Jimmy
guess I
staff
don't
is
blame him
clearing
on
out
that,
here.
but that's wild, man. What was your guys' direct reaction to the Bateman situation? Because we were on a stream with the SBN guys, like the big show. They broke it to us like we had the TV muted, and they broke it to us like on the actual stream itself.
They did the 3 minutes early shit.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
They tipped it to us. They got our video of it. Like, we just fucking high fived and like had the in the moment thing. So how was it for you guys?
So I was sitting at the downstairs bar in a more quiet spot away from the party here, and I was on the Barstool stream, and I was looking up at the TV on the right, and the pick was in, and Goodell was like walking up and doing his thing, and then
God knows how many steps that man took tonight.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, bless his heart, man. He's got
Pray for him.
a rough life. The Barstool guys were just going on and on about something they had going on, and then the producer just started flashing Rashod Bateman highlights and like stuff, and so I was like, "Did we take Bateman? I guess we took Bateman." And that's what it was.
Yeah. I think the reaction in the room, I was still in the party, was positive. I think people were really excited.
People just want anybody.
Marlon and Hollywood popped off about it, so that felt like a good.
Is this? No, it's not.
Yeah, that felt like a good omen. But I was excited, and I think people wanted a receiver so bad. People just want receivers so bad.
So fucking bad.
I don't know if you guys saw the video of Lamar. Like, Lamar and Hollywood did like a FaceTime or whatever it was together.
I figured that's who he was on the FaceTime with.
Yeah. So they did a FaceTime. Lamar clearly had no idea.
He was like,
Rashod
Minnesota?
Bateman was. He was so sick. Who? It was funny.
Kobe Bryant from the lake.
Minnesota football. Like, you
Yeah.
telling me you weren't watching that every Saturday at 11.
Taylor Morgan?
Yeah, listen, I don't know about him, but I definitely was.
I just try to avoid having those guys have Maryland highlights in them, and Rashod Bateman just toast Tino Ellis in one of the highlights, so that was unfortunate.
No, he did. I saw that. I was like, yeah, that's.
They locked him down a little bit. He had like 4 for 95 or something.
Yeah, he did not have a huge game.
Yeah. It was all right. It was okay. They did well.
Did he stick on a P squad somewhere?
Tino, he was with the Saints. Yeah, he was
Saints.
The Saints player,
Okay.
So, but yeah, the room vibes were good after both picks. I don't know if there was a big Penn State cheering section for the 31st pick, but people were going crazy for him. I was like, who?
Yeah, it was a
I
little
feel like
more
the regular
muted
fan knowing
from
who he is
downstairs
was
on
kinda
that.
surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we were
everyone-
ready to go, and Rog walked out there real quick, and it was like, yeah, Jason Noe. So on our end, that's what that was.
The Bucks picked like 45 seconds later. It was wild. They had to cut in from commercial.
They were boom, Joe Tryon. We love that shit.
Listen, good for them. I mean, we were talking about the early teams just kind of like milking every second of it and like making the TV product what it is. Good for them, but like on the other end of it, like, if we want to get out of here, let's do that too.
I think people want to get out of here. Deion Sanders came into the stream and almost ate up all my FaceTime for the Ravens.
Yeah, what happened there? Why don't you explain that? This is it. By the way, we haven't introduced you guys too. This is Banks and Taylor Smythe from the Exit 52 podcast. joining the stream. We did not.
They're not quite as handsome as Vaz.
Not quite.
No,
Who's up
we've had a bit
here
of
on
a
the
rough
third.
one.
But they're pretty
We
sexy.
got these sweet Brigands Brigade hats that we kind of swiped at the end here. They were just kind of hanging out here at the end. Anyways, so the gig is it's StreamYard like you guys are using, where when your pick was on deck, you would go into the stream and you'd stay in the waiting room, and then the host would let you in when, he would facilitate the broadcast as the producer and all that. And so I was there on deck for when the Bills were on the clock, and the Bills person didn't even come in because Deion Sanders just came into the waiting room and was like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to do my thing. Like, he just wanted to be done with it and talk about it. Like, recap the entire first round when we were on pick 30. And so
He was on there for a while.
Deion Sanders, he's prime time, so you bring him on the podcast or whatever. And so they did that, and he did his 15 to 20 minutes that he did, and by the time he was done, the Ravens pick was in and hadn't been announced yet. So I came in and kind of did a quick 2 minutes on it, and that was it.
Jacksonville State will rise to the kingdom very soon.
Deion is Deion, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anybody you guys wanted in either of those spots that you're?
Jenkins would have been a nice pick.
Jenkins.
But I think people are a little bit too wound up on OA's sack totals. I think that's
A little bit.
OA and Bateman. Those are the kind of players you need to beat the
He
Chiefs.
perfectly fits
Right.
in for Judon. Fuck
Yeah.
Judon. Judon never had sacks. Away never had sacks. Who cares?
Sacks
what
are
I-
overrated,
I know
man.
Judon was
Yeah.
justifying the pick up here. He was like defending himself. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Jenkins, I think, is the one that will get people upset.
Yeah.
But-
If Merrick is like an all-pro safety,
He's not going to be an all-pro. He's not
He's
quite
still out there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And
Yeah, 'cause
I
it's like
I thought Barmore might be an option too, because I mean he's just fallen.
I feel
love
like
him.
Barmore's not like a chalkboard kind of guy where he gets everybody really happy, or else he wouldn't be where he is.
I
Like, if-
prefer OA to Barmore 9 days out of 10.
there we go.
Wow, that's a statement right there.
And so do the Ravens. So for once, we're on the same side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Bateman kind of like is a nice pick to also like just suffice your fan base and be like, all right,
Yes.
shut up.
Yeah.
For like
It was a
3
little bit of a
months.
Philly.
suffices-
It was a
it's-
Howie Roseman pick.
It suffices me. Like I was sitting here tonight. I was sweating at certain points. I was like, I need them to do something for me. Like I can't do this anymore. I can't
There
do
were
this
too
wide
many good
receiver
options,
discussion.
I thought.
I can't do this shit anymore. I can't do Voss complaining about positional value. I can't do it. I need something to happen for me.
The
And they
board
gave me
stacked up
one.
so well for them. I mean, it really
Right?
did.
No, it did. It certainly did.
especially when it was like Titans, Vikings, Steelers. It was like
Running backs, running back.
Right, yeah,
the
exactly.
back-to-back
And
running backs.
my prediction ultimately was a trade up to 21 for Rashod Bateman with the Colts, and then a trade back at 31. And like they didn't have to do that at all. So I'm sitting here and I'm feeling okay. Not that I matter at all, but that was the way that I was.
I think the Jags could have gotten Travis Etienne, who I really like. They could have gotten him like 60.
Yeah.
Taylor, by the way, this guy going to be at Jake Funk's draft party on Saturday.
I will not be there. I really hope Jake gets drafted.
He's going to be there.
Man.
I'm putting too much pressure on him by talking.
Don't
out loud.
put pressure on him, but you'll be there. I mean, like
He's having a draft party. I think he's getting drafted.
Where's he having it? In his house?
Yeah,
don't specify too much, but yes.
he's having it in Damascus.
It's a dry town.
Do it. Yeah. No.
Whoa! Dry.
Damascus? Is he doing it in Damascus?
They get wet, but not at the bar.
I know that.
That's wild, man.
No, there's no doubt.
Are we
about
talking
Probably a house
scripting
party.
right now?
Jake Funk must have wowed teams in interviews because he's an awesome kid and he knows.
He had 30 special teams tackles too before. Like,
The
and
other
I
running
also,
backs,
I also
though-
think like the Maryland running back Mill is becoming a thing.
Yeah, and McFarland and Javon League and Tayon Fleet Davis.
Exactly.
All the guys called him Coach Funk. They called him Coach Funk.
Ty
his entire career.
Johnson.
Ty Johnson. They swear by Jake Funk. They all swear by him.
Bro,
So
he
I hope it
jumped.
happens.
He jumped 39. He ran 4.4. He did all the shit. He was second in the Big Ten in rushing. He's,
17 more running backs to go, and then 17 more to go. He's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it happens for him.
It's gonna be a real
He
run
very
on
much
running
deserves
backs
it.
too.
There is. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it.
Well, guys, our Uber's about to arrive. That's
All right,
the,
we
I'm sure
appreciate
no
you
one's ever-
guys.
I'm sure
Listen
no
to
one's
the
ever
Exit
said that leaving
52
a podcast.
podcast. We'll never talk to these guys again. We'll never see them again.
No, these are our boys. Thank you guys for hopping on with us. You guys have yourselves a tremendous night. Listen to Exit 52 podcast, and thank you, boys.
No doubt, man.
No,
This
no,
is
shout
fun.
out to the Brigance Brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that.
If you don't, you're a fugazi.
Fugazi.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, Vaz, give us the real shit. We've been waiting on it.
We have.
I'm hyped. I am hyped. I put myself a nice fat single malt to celebrate the positional value of the Ravens' first round right here.
Vaz,
Cheers, brother.
Love you.
Cheers. Cheers. I love you guys. I
love
am
you.
I am amped. Do I like Tryon? Did I like Ojulari maybe a little bit more than Owe? Yes. But I am stoked about Owe. There's a lot of negativity, it seems. I've been editing and doing writing and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm hyped about Owe. I did a mock I guess about a week and a half ago for Jake Vogel, one of our buddies on Twitter. He asked me to fill in for him. And guess what I took in the first round? Owe. And I took a lot of heat and this and that. But I think it's an upside play. And guess what? When you're trying to beat Kansas City, when you're trying to beat Buffalo, and you can't get over
Who
the
can
hump,
chase down Patrick Mahomes?
you make an upside play. You make an upside play, and if it pays off, then that's where you need to be. If you just stay conservative all the time and pay special teams guys and take defensive tackles to be your fourth or fifth defensive tackle, you're not going to get over the hump. I think it's a risk worth taking. Obviously, Bateman, we've loved him forever. We loved him for 18 months.
Jake was the flag of the sale. He kept it flowing through because we've all, the entire Baltimore beatdown staff, the entire Ravens flock nation, whatever, has been on Bateman for so long. And Jake was the one that kept it through and through and through. And he was like, I want to trade up for him. I don't give a fuck anymore. I just want to get him. And now you're talking, Vaz, positional value.
Yes.
Receiver.
Yes.
Edge rusher.
Yes.
And guess what? If Owe flops, and this is the thing about Owe, his run defending layman's term value is not low. It's relatively high in this class. His ability to stack with long arms, his ability to recognize, outside zone, that kind of stuff. It's relatively high. So his bust is a player who couldn't figure out how to be a 10, 12 sack guy, but you can put him on the field.
Right.
And that's not bad.
Sacks are overrated, man. Sacks are so overrated. I can't stand that. PFF loves Owe. And if a guy is not producing, they're not going to pump him up just because he tested well. They got all kind of guys that are talking about undervalued guys, and that's not their thing. That's not their thing.
Owe is a tight end neutralizer. He'll fuck a tight end up.
Yeah, I really like this pick, and I guess it's a little bit controversial, polarizing, but I like that the Ravens went outside the box, went outside their specifications, and said, this is what we usually do, but you know what? What we always do isn't necessarily producing the results that we want. Maybe we need to do something a little bit different.
Tyus Bowser in 2 decades.
And I think they're a good pairing. I think Owe can set a sturdy edge. I think he can – I like it. I like it a lot.
You've got McPhee there to show how to lay a shoulder, how to cut him in and half, how to lay the law down.
Yeah.
And then you pair that with Wink, who is driving trucks through freaking flower stands in his late 20s before he's a defensive coach and is, burning the damn ships and doing all the nasty shit with his mullet. And you don't draft Jason Owe if you don't have a firm plan from your coaching staff.
And to me, the thing is this, always, all the time, the Ravens are like, we want team captains. We want leadership. We want veterans. Okay, well, if all you ever take is the safe guy, it's a diminishing returns at some point. So bring in a guy that now you can coach up, that now you can leverage and make McPhee and Wink and all that to your benefit.
Playing 50 snaps a game, he's going to get hurt in the first fucking 4 games.
But let him teach. Let him teach. If all you ever do is draft
Campbell,
yeah, you won't have a high ceiling. So every once in a while, you mix in a ceiling guy. That's where the payoff is.
I feel like Matt Aboye was a relatively high ceiling guy, and his snaps were limited, and he got tutelage.
Sign Justin Houston.
Yeah.
Don't dick around. Just-
Tanner
Villanueva.
just asked about that. Do you
yeah,
think
he
we
did.
should-
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So
I think there's no fucking way that Kelly or Villanueva is not a Raven on like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I might prefer Ingram. What do you guys think? Houston versus
I
Ingram.
prefer Ingram.
I
prefer
would.
Ingram.
I'm curious about the price with Ingram. What do you think about that?
I mean, they're still hanging out there. He's not going to get a big money at this point.
I don't really care.
I don't really care.
I
either.
don't care either. Like, don't mistake that.
Honestly, don't
I'm
sign
thinking
either of
about
them.
what-
I'm okay
And
not
whichever
signing
one
either.
signs first, you get the other.
Or not sign either. I'm okay with the 4. I think maybe the 3D chest is not to pay Edge. Just not to pay Edge. Go get a free safety and don't worry about Edge because you can send some guy you pick up off the street, like Jihad Ward, and he'll go make some noise for you. Because if you have that coverage, if you have that kind of coverage that they didn't necessarily have last year, but they had 2 years ago, then almost any edge can make it work.
I like that. We like that.
I like that a lot. The philosophy sticks, and this is the untalked about projection of Oweh is he has these athletic movement skills. I'm guaranteeing he has great hips. He probably has great transitions, and you can coach him into a position where he's dropping into the flats, being an instinctive coverage player that he wasn't asked to be at Penn State, and that's the upside that you're talking about. The length is there. And this is, like, again, I give Jake kudos because Ozzie Newsome would never have drafted Oweh, I don't think. I don't think he would have taken a player that didn't have high production, and Oweh can turn into a weapon. I personally don't see 4.3 on film. I never saw an instance where ahead of his pro day, I thought that dude runs a 4.3. I never thought, holy shit,
that's
that guy
fair.
runs a 4.3. I think Joseph Osai plays more of a football 4.3 with hustle than Oweh does in Penn State scheme. While those might be very different things, I think
you gotta unlock it though.
Exactly.
And the Ravens are the ones that can unlock it.
Darius
All
Smith,
you ever do is just take the safe guy. You never have that upside. They're the perfect team to take a risk on a guy like this every once in a while. They really
I think
are.
they might have taken Peyton Turner, who went to the Saints at 20.
I know. Wait, we were on him. We were on him early, by the way. That's a feather in our cap because we were both on him pretty early before he had any first round.
Ojulari not going round 1. We fell out of in the last couple of weeks as well. And I think that Oweh is going to give you something very different than Ojulari in terms of length. Actually, not even length, size, in terms of upside, in terms of functional strength, all of those things for the rush position. Because, hey, maybe Tyus Bowser gets hurt and can't play a ton. But if you've got Bowser at Sam, what are you doing with Ojulari?
Well, that's the thing. I think they stay true to the size because they always want the size. And I don't blame them. I want the size, but I want the upside too. And I don't care that he had 0 sacks last year.
He had 7 sacks the 2 years prior. It's fine.
I could not care less.
Let's
talk about. Are we ready to talk about tomorrow though?
Yes, absolutely. I'm ready to talk about tomorrow because I see you got your little list over there. So fucking crack me.
I mean, okay. So who fell here? Because honestly, it's been my head spinning right now. Barmore's out there. Was Enrique. God, first of all, the Steelers taking a running back, and then Rousseau, going. And then
I wish
Rousseau.
we had you. That was the one regret of going on to the other show was that we didn't get to see you.
I
shouted you out basically, and I was like, look, they basically took a frame of a car instead of an engine.
Yes, that's a good analogy. I love that analogy.
Exactly. So you have 400 horsepower, but what the fuck are you going to put it on?
You have no wheels, right?
You got no wheels. You got no structure. You got no frame.
I tweeted out a little tweet right after they took him. I said, I love when other teams take running backs and then with little Biggie Smalls like baby. You know what I mean? Yeah, it went over pretty well.
I knew that you probably were fist pumping, ecstatic,
Yes.
like loving that.
And Rousseau, who the one guy didn't want. So Owe versus Rousseau, they're kind of similar, I guess, in a way. Rousseau's
It's
a little
religion.
bit bigger,
Maybe.
but Owe's upside is so much more. You don't want to take a guy that's both raw and has a low athletic ceiling. That's Rousseau. Owe is raw, but he has a high athletic
And
ceiling.
the funny thing is the conversation, and I don't think there's been a lot of debates on it, but the conversation that I would imagine is Rousseau, relatively new to the position versus Owe, relatively new to the sport. But guess what? Owe has been playing that position longer than Rousseau has as well.
Sure, and I get that, but he's not. I
think Owe is more in the mentality and sync of the edge position.
Yeah, I think Rousseau's going to end up inside. And now you're taking a first-round guy and going to put 20 pounds on him and then kick him inside. It's not worth a first-round pick.
And he might get hurt. And he might get hurt. He might not be able to hold that weight. It might be difficult. I talked myself into Rousseau as well as I could have ahead. And Rousseau, the things are length and hand placement, but the get-off was embarrassing. It's not able to threaten a tackle in their vertical set, not making them gallop really hard. And then that limits your defense, because that's why the Ravens liked Ngakoue so much, because you can run game that is predicated on Ngakwe's get off, where you can crash where the void is. And that's the kind of 3D chess we like to talk about. That's the kind of 3D chess that Wink Martindale likes. And with Owe, you fix his stance a little bit. You fix his anticipation a little bit. You pin his ears back on third down. And guess what? He can corner. Guess what? He runs a 1.55, 10-yard split. Guess what? He jumps 40 inches. All of those are absolutely certifiable ways of saying this guy can fuck up a tackle in 3 steps.
Yes. They have the coaching staff. They have the veteran leadership. They have the locker room. Leverage that to your advantage.
Then I don't ever want to hear about it again.
What's that?
If they don't have the coaching staff to bring out the best in Owe, I don't ever want to hear about the coaching staff.
It's a fair point. Anyway, back to tomorrow. So, offensive line. Offensive line. That's the elephant in the room here.
That's the only thing they've got left.
Are we trading up here, Jake? What do you think, man?
I think that is certainly a possibility. We've talked about it. 2/3, 2/4, 2/5. That is a lot. Like it sounds like
and a 6th.
Yeah, and a 6th, and then next year too. I think that's a lot. That's a lot to do what you got to do. Tevin Jenkins still on the board, correct? Like Landon Dickinson, Creed Humphrey still on the board. Like there's a lot that you could potentially do. And like I would be 100% thinking about doing that. And like maybe I'm just like being dickhead video game fan, like sitting here thinking about, oh yeah, maybe I'll do this. And
I think it goes into the beginning of the 3rd round if you get a spot.
Yeah, it's like if they start to slip just a little bit.
It's
like,
crazy to me that Jenkins is still out there. I thought I thought they were going to have to trade up from 27.
Done deal at 31.
Yeah, me too.
Done deal at 31.
But it's a long way to their next pick. That's the one thing I didn't like about the Orlando Brown trade.
And we
it's
heard
a long way.
When he had to when he had to wait between Hollywood and
we know how it's going to go. Tomorrow we're going to have 10 guys. Tomorrow we're going to wake up. We're going to say we like these 10 guys. Guess what? 10 of those guys are going to go on the top 12 picks tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon. It happens every single time.
Yeah, it happens a lot. But you know what? I was thinking that today, and I was thinking that wide receiver that I like, Rashod Bateman, he's going to go within the
Stone Forsythe.
Yep, he's gone.
Spencer Brown.
And they made it happen.
One of those guys is sitting there in the 3rd round, and it's like pick 68, pick 70, pick 75. The tall, long, maybe projects. I think Stone Forsythe has the SEC experience. Spencer Brown has a 10.0 number 1 RAS of any tackle of all time, plus the length.
I like it, but is he going to start next year?
No.
So that's the thing, man. How do we feel about Villanueva? I'll take Brown, and then you coach him up for a year, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's ready to go in 2022.
Yep. I think you take Brown and you give him 8 games of sitting. I think you take Brown and give him 10 games of sitting, and that's preferable to immediately throwing him in, of course. But the Ravens have And, Vaz, you've shouted it out, and the more people shout it out, the amount of vertical pass sets where a pass rusher is going to give you a 6 or a 7 alignment and threaten you towards your quarterback on the Baltimore Ravens when it's Lamar Jackson is very different.
They had to play contain. There's no way around it.
Next Gen Stats has it. The get off against the Ravens since Lamar Jackson took over is by far, significantly, it is 0.95 as opposed to the league average of 0.78 of pass rushers first crossing the line of scrimmage, or the last pass rusher to cross the line of scrimmage, because if you run past Lamar Jackson, he's gone. And he's comfortable being gone, and he can maintain speed and make decisions still at a speed.
They literally can't go to their inside move. They literally have to just
the outside has to play contain, and you better
that's what I'm saying.
You better hope that Chris Jones is your inside guy that can get pressure on Lamar while you're playing contain. And that Lamar isn't being a little bit frantic, which he can be at times as well. But when he's on his shit, you better hope that your interior is getting pressure and you have someone playing contain. And for someone who might need a little bit of polish, that's the ideal situation. Foot speed, I think, is critical. Jalen Mayfield's still on the board. Maybe he lasts to the 3rd round.
Yeah, there's a couple guys. All right, let's look at our O-line. Let me look at my O-line sheet here. None of the centers went, right? Dickerson and Humphrey. I kind of like Carmen as a
I love Carmen.
As a left.
You don't know his length. He doesn't have a listed length either.
I have a length. I have a length on him. Hold on. Let me get it. It's not great. I'll tell you that. He but if you can take him, he can be a left guard next year and then a swing tackle.
Or God forbid he's just on the bench.
Let's see. Where does he have him? Let's see my guards. Yeah, Carmen is 32 and a half. 32 and a half, not great.
That's why.
Josh, how we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Wife and baby are asleep, so got the living room to myself. But as far as how I feel about the picks, I you know how I feel about the Bateman pick. I've been, I'm with you guys as far as been pounding the table for the Ravens to take him pretty much the entire draft. The whole leading up to the draft.
That was the Baltimore beatdown pick.
Oh yeah, every time it was my guy, like that, the love hate that me and Voss did a couple weeks back. First guy I mentioned was Rashod Bateman. That's my love right there. And so when I made the pick, I put it on my Snapchat. Me and my son were just jumping for joy, man. We were so excited. Rashod Bateman, yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
he remembers that. Yes.
He gets excited when I get excited, so we get excited about the same things. I didn't even know his real name. I still can't pronounce it. His real name, his preferred first name.
Something. Kyle was
the first name.
He goes by
Jason.
No.
It's something.
Pull it up. I'll pull it up. I got it somewhere.
Odafe. Odafe.
Odafe.
Yeah, so that's his first name.
It sounds Greek.
I thought it was a typo when I first saw it. I was like, oh man, I messed up the title, copy and paste. This is first name. Okay. Just wondering how Jerry Sandusky's going to handle that in the booth on Sundays.
The Odafe is in the barn.
Yeah, don't worry about him.
I'll be right back, guys.
Odafe, away. As long as we get away, he is going to have a successful career in Baltimore.
Every time he gets a sack, just start the chant.
It's going to be.
What do you think his worst case is, Josh?
His ceiling is really high, I feel like, but his floor, man, I feel like I was really torn. Like when it first happened, I was like, oh man, not Tevin Jenkins. Shit.
Felt like that was the obvious move. So they hit us with a little bit of a one for now in Bateman and a one for later in OA, for sure.
I think if there's any staff that can get the most and the best out of OA, it is Wink Martindale and them boys. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I think he's definitely going to go to Terrell Suggs route and be a situational pass rusher to start off his career. Going to be a third down specialist.
I don't think he's playing more than 400 snaps next year.
Yeah, like I'd be surprised if he even got to that many. I feel like this Ravens defense has gotten a whole lot faster, and we're gonna be seeing a lot of 3 and outs. So I don't even know if he's gonna see the field that much. But yeah, man, I can definitely talk myself into it. Like Voss was saying, I was ecstatic when Rousseau got taken just before the Ravens run the clock. I was like, thank God. Oh, like I know it's Calais Campbell's guy and all, but I was like, no, bro, not the direction we're going. We need, I'm cool with the way, but Rousseau, I would have been pretty pissed about just because it's nothing against the guy personally.
It's like a guy with limited athleticism that you're betting on the upside versus a guy with the best athleticism arguably in his entire draft class, and you're betting on his upside.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I put in one of my instant reactions. I was like, arguably the most athletic edge defender in the entire class. So I'd rather bet on that guy and the coaching staff that we have on with Don and those guys than a guy like Rousseau and just like, oh, who figure this shit out. Maybe play 5 technique in 2 years. I don't know.
Who are you thinking day 2, day 3? Who are you looking at?
Man, you guys did hit on some of my guys that I am looking at. I've seen some mocks of him 3-round mocks where I saw Hunter Long last until the end at bottom of the 3rd. So that would be great if we were to if they were to get him if they were to get him like 94 or 104 or whatever, that'd be great. If they could get Hunter Long and either Spencer Brown or Stone Forsythe, one of the guys you mentioned, that would be a freaking coup for the first 2 days. I'm like, man, they didn't have to trade up or down, and they got 4 instant impact dudes. Like, oh my goodness.
How much do you think they need to address the defensive side of the ball? How much do you think? What do you think the bare minimum that the Ravens can address the defensive side of the football and feel successful is in terms of a number of picks? So right now they've made 2, they have 7. How many picks do you think need to be given to the defensive side of the football?
I think at least 2 to 3 more. Like you get another interior defensive lineman, a safety.
Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
Maybe a safety, or a nickel. If you could get a guy who could do both, like safety and nickel, that'd be great. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and probably even another edge rusher.
I think they need 2, assuming they're going to sign a veteran edge. And like I said earlier, I think they'll be okay at edge, even if
there's so many still.
With the 4. And I know you like WBK. That's a good guy. But I think they need a safety. And I don't have the picks in front of me, but I personally, the way this whole offseason is gone and the draft is gone, package a couple picks, package 3 picks, and go get somebody that can play free safety, because that's the piece.
Who is that?
I mean, there's quite a few guys. I mean, Grant's still there. Johnson, Cisco, Holland is Josh's guy who can double down as a backup slot guy. Gillespie, I like Gillespie from Missouri too. People sleep on him. I think he's
from Missouri as well.
I mean, there's quite a few, man. Higgins, Trill Williams from Syracuse. There's a lot of guys. I don't know if you guys have
a Wiggins or a Derek Forrest or a
most of these guys I think they need a back end guy, not a box safety. That's really, to me, that's what they need.
See, the question though is that a lot of college teams are running quarters match. Cincinnati, both of those guys are running quarters match. And they'll rotate, they'll shift into those single high looks. And I was listening to, I think, the Draft Network on the way over here, and they were like, Trevon Merrick, we think he's going to Baltimore, but he plays a lot of quarters, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of it rotates in. So it's never going to be perfect, but I think you can see someone's ability to process at the same time. And I think they just need a smart safety, regardless of whatever his annotation is. If it's a strong safety, if it's a free safety, whatever it is, they need a smart safety that you're confident is going to be on the chalkboard, is going to be on the practice field, and is going to be able to learn. Maybe he's not a quick transitioner with that quote-unquote range, But it's tough.
No, they're not going to play single high. That's not wing scheme. We've seen that the last couple years. They're going to play too high. But let's get a guy that has some range, even in a split safety look, so that you can bring Clark down the box where he's better against tight ends, communication, instead of a guy that's going to be in the box and keeping Clark on the back end. I think that's the key. And I don't have the picks in front of me.
Elliott is starting to see it. I think Elliott is starting to see things.
So put him on the right side and get another guy for the other side.
Towards the end of the season, Elliott really came on strong as far as his awareness stuff in the back end. I remember I was on one of Ken McCusick's podcast, and towards the end of the season, I started calling him the dissuader, because he wasn't making all the plays on the ball, but he was in the right places at the right time in the back end to kind of dissuade the quarterback from either trying to complete it in bounds or just throwing that way completely. So
he started being able to recognize what the worst case was and help there.
Yeah, so let's pretend that OA it has a Terrell Suggs light rookie year, because Suggs was a situational pass rusher his first year and was a defensive rookie of the year.
That's not going to happen.
So yeah, he's not going to happen. But let's say he's 80% of that or 70% of that. So then you have that. So I mean, what else do you need on the defensive front? You need a nose tackle. There's a ton of nose tackles going to be picked.
You just need a safety,
and you need a safety. On defense, you need a safety. On defense, you need a safety. On offensive line, you need a tackle.
Can get away with just a safety.
Yeah, I think so. And then on the offense, you need a tackle, maybe 2 tackles, but you still have 5 picks, right? 7 picks. 7 picks. So maybe are you guys in favor of packaging picks to get up into the second round?
Honestly, I
am.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be on board with that, but the fact that none went in the first round today, I'm kind of confident that somebody might fall to them in the third round, or on the other hand, there might be a run on safeties in the second round. So I mean, you could go either way, but I was like, wow, not even more went in the first day. Maybe we can find somebody in the third.
I think safety wise, you don't make a trade up. I think you're not trading up for a safety. You can sit there, and there's going to be one that you're okay with that you probably think can play. But tackle wise, I still think that length is going to be a big asset. I think the coaching staff has a similar perspective, and I think you start to call. So there's still Jenkins, there's still Eichenberg, and the Ravens passed on Jenkins. So to me, that means they are not interested in Jenkins at all. Yeah. To me, that says Jenkins is not a concern. We are not even looking at him. Don't care. So that makes me think that they, number one, have the plan in place of the guys we talked about, veterans, and number two, they want the developmental tackle. I think a sneaky option is Dan Moore, who started for 3 seasons at Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. He has incredible grip strength. If he can get his hands on you, it's over. His feet, okay. His timing as a run blocker, okay. Everything's okay. Everything can be developed a little bit. He meets the length. He's tall. But the grip strength is serious, and it was at the Senior Bowl. He lost a couple of reps, not a lot. A lot of guys, John Ledyard was shitting on him, and a lot of guys were talking about him in a way that didn't quite make sense. And I look at Stone Forsythe, and I think, okay, 6'8". Okay, started at Florida 2 years. Okay, that's fantastic. I think he's dead in the water, gone by the time the Ravens are picking. But Dan Moore, same SEC experience, a lot of the same solidity. I think he might have a higher upside as a run blocker. And I think he, in this class, is one of the best guys in terms of when he closes that hand, he's got big paws, and when they're closed, your jersey is his, and you're not getting away. Maybe there's a holding call, whatever, but you're not getting the hell away. So I think that's a good swing tackle if they have a veteran in mind.
You guys think they trade up for a center?
No way. They don't value center at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, who knows what they value anymore? They're every indication they've given for the last 12 months before tonight was that they didn't value wide receiver. and then they took
True.
Bateman. So
Well, it's true, and it's also not true.
no, it is true, man. It is true.
I'm telling you, but they're doing a bunch of masterful misdirects right now.
No,
We're insulted, and we're going to take a receiver.
Well, they drafted 4 of them. They tried to get in on some of them, and they just failed. Like they value it, but they just suck at actually
They lied
acquiring
to
it.
They lied to us, and we believe it.
I didn't. I never believed it. No, fuck that. I'm not believing. I'm not. Oh yeah, Devin Duvernay is gonna be my fucking starting wide receiver. Give me a fucking break, Eric. Come on.
Yeah, they really got me, made me look stupid on Twitter.
Like no, but seriously, are you going to bet on Duvernay to carry your team to a Super Bowl? No, you're not. If he does, then you're pleasantly surprised.
I think they made Super Bowl moves today.
Yeah,
I think they made Super Bowl moves tonight, and
This
I
was
will
the first
always
one of
commend
this
that.
offseason.
for sure.
I will always commend that. I think that
Bateman was a Super Bowl.
I think Kansas City and New Orleans and the Rams and
Gosh, you got a hell of a fireplace there.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, we've only used it like twice since we've been here. We've been living here almost 3 years, but it's just this, when you open that thing up. You know, we live in Alaska, and the only time we really open
yeah.
it
What
up
time is it over there?
Oh, it's only 9:32, so I'm going to be up for a while.
It's Aurora Borealis. I see the sun coming in. Was this like the long sunshine? What do they call it?
Oh no! So what we do is we have the winter and summer solstice. So the winter solstice has already passed, and that's pretty much we're just like 1 hour of like sunlight all day, and it's barely like an hour. It's like the sun will come up behind the snow briefly and then just go away. But it's mostly dark. But that happened in like December, so now we're working our way to the summer solstice. But it will be sunshine out until about 10 o'clock at night. Like it's 9:32 right now, and the sun's still out. So
you working put like black curtains on your boy's room or something.
I just pull his blinds down, and I don't even have to turn on his nightlight until it's like midnight. So
yeah. That's pretty good.
Never been to the Great Frontier, but I'm hoping on it.
Yeah.
Oh man, look during this whole pandemic thing. Alaska's become like the hotspot for tourism. People can't go anywhere else, so they're like, "Hey, I've never been to Alaska. Let me go up there and see what's up." And it's like, so our tourism season is really starting to take up and a real big boom up here. So if you haven't come to Alaska before, now is the time.
Love to
That's
hear
it. That's
You're
it.
saying Super Bowl moves, Vaz, and I cut you off because Josh has a beautiful fireplace.
He does have a beautiful fireplace. I like that. I live in the woods out in up off 83 in Timonium, and I have firewood.
Oh, I'm aware.
I have an entire forest full of firewood.
It's actually a crime that you don't have us there for like a fire pit situation more often, to be honest.
Hey, we're gonna do that soon. Yeah. Okay. Come out. We're gonna do that very soon. We're gonna have a bunch of Greek guys in black tank tops with gel in their hair, and we're gonna let everyone
Trust me,
know.
I'll gel my hair like
I'll gel my hair.
If you don't have gel when you get here, I'll give you some in the driveway. So
I'm sure you've got.
Listen, here's a little pomade. Don't come in until you use it.
So my point was that some of these teams have top-heavy rosters.
Kansas City is your worst nightmare, your greatest fear, and you want.
It's what I want. It's what I want the Ravens to be. That's what I think is the key. Because if you get 8 or 6 or 10 studs at the right positions, granted, at the right position is very important, but at the right position,
pass rush, receiver, secondary, quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver.
Yeah.
So kicker doesn't count.
You can play a kicker. We're talking small potatoes. That's like two.
Football.
That's like Chris Board. That's like Chris Board and Jordan Richards combined.
I can't
guess
guarantee
you're your kicker.
Anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
If you get those guys, you can not only chase a championship, but you can also weather the storm when the salary cap starts hurting you. That's really what I think is the panacea of NFL
because those are
roster
low
construction.
the positions that are low cost are the positions you have to fill.
Yes, and you can fill those relatively cheaply
if you have competency within your organization and your front office.
And I think what they did tonight was saying, well, we're a trench team. We like whatever. we prioritize the offensive line, but then you go and get Bateman, and then you go and get Oweh. Let's say Oweh 2-3 years from now is putting up big sack totals or big pressure totals. Go grab a safety.
Or even fucking 40 and 8 sacks, and you're ecstatic.
Yes.
If you 8 sack guy, you're ecstatic.
So bottom line is I'm encouraged.
Might never be an 8 sack guy.
No,
I got a question.
Let me finish it. I'm just encouraged by what they did tonight because they went outside of their depth over everything, collegiate production. We don't care what level, whatever. Let's go get some playmakers that will allow us some roster flexibility going forward. I'm very encouraged by tonight. Last year,
your 2 favorite positions that you wanted investment in.
I really wanted to tackle. I love tackle. I was all about Jenkins. But like I said in the show we recorded a couple weeks or last week or earlier this week, I don't even remember. It's all blur at this point. They have a lot of options, and there's a lot of options I like, and they took 2 of the options I like very much.
Boom. What is the worst case? What is the worst case for Rashod Bateman? What's the negative? That is a good thing. That lack of an answer, those eyeballs turning is a good thing. And that's how you know they made a good pick.
700 yards. I
think that's still a good outcome.
I'm about to say, yeah, that for a Ravens receiver, that's fantastic.
Yeah, like it's fine. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like,
so if Oweh beats Orlando Brown for a sack when the Ravens meet the Chiefs, whatever they meet them this year, right in the regular season, do they automatically win the trade?
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
I fucking hope so.
Yes. That is a great question. And my answer is absolutely 100% yes.
And what if Oweh gets 3 sacks on OBJ?
I will get an Oweh too.
Voss, you're gonna have to like bow down to Eric.
But another good question. Since linebackers are allowed to wear 20 numbers, do you think he keeps 28?
That's a hell of a question.
I hadn't thought that deep into it, Josh.
And Rashod is like what, 13?
He was 0 and then
he was 0 and he was 13
yeah.
then 0.
13 then 0. 0, I hope so.
That'll be tight. I think
Bateman 28 or no, not Bateman. Oweh 28. I think no. I think he gets bullied into 50s.
Yeah, just be normal.
Just take Matt Judon's number. Just give 99.
Right, you're gonna be over here. Yeah, you're gonna have to be this number. Like, just be normal. just
give Matt Judon's number.
Bro. You're not a running back. I'm the president of the Baltimore Ravens, United States, bro. You're not a running back.
God bless him. Do the right thing.
God bless him. No, I don't think he's 28. It does look good on him, though. He does. He has a different physique than any Ravens edge rusher I can remember. He's got a little bit of a tiny waist, very broad shoulders, back, super incredible. I think he has 35-inch arms, right?
Sure.
He's got 35-inch arms. He jumps 40. He is the most not Ozzie Newsome edge that has ever been drafted.
That's what I like. You know, we wanted Ozzie Newsome laid a great foundation. We want Ozzie Newsome 2.0. We want Ozzie into the modern
His
era.
best qualities mixed with the nuance.
And that's what we wanted from DaCosta. He didn't necessarily do it last year, but he damn sure did it so far this year.
I just thought it was so funny. I mentioned this in my instant reactions that the Ravens released a video of when DaCosta went into the draft room, like, hey, this is our board, this that, and then he had that plaque with the Nick Saban quote on it about the best
behavior.
Yeah, and then he went on to explain like we think we go with guys that had the production in college over guys who didn't, and then they went with the guy who didn't have the production in college over the guy who did. So I was like. Look at you with your masterful misdirect. You tell us you're going one way, you're insulted, and then you go the other way.
Yeah. I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he deserves a little more time. So Oweh is 6'4" and 7.
He's 6'5",
I guess. 6'5", 257, 4.37, 40, 34.5-inch arms, 9.25-inch hands, 82-inch wingspan. And
Those biceps.
he's a little bit older than 22 years old. So I mean, really, the debate is him versus Tryon. That's going to be
right. And Tryon, we know had the meniscus.
We picked Tryon in our bracket when we recorded a couple nights
Big
ago.
Ten football is a lot different from Pac-12 football.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Tryon has a lot more experience dropping, which is why we like Tryon so much. Away, that might not be something that's natural, but then again, Judon never did that once in college, and he was playing at a lower level. I just don't, in the end, this is what I have on Owe. You don't take Owe if Wink isn't beating down the door for Owe with a plan.
And I love that about them. They finally stepped outside of their comfort zone. That's what really, really inspires me about this pick.
It does for sure. And the thing that Jake and I have said, it'll be the 15th time I say it. Rashod Bateman is for now. Jason Owe is for later.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Justin Houston, if you have Ryan Kerrigan, if you have Melvin Ingram, if you have – I'm sure there's someone else who has probably played 1,500 defensive snaps at Kerrigan, Ingram, Houston. I bet there's someone else. I bet you can trade for someone. I bet someone gets cut after June 1st where you can go find a transition stopgap type guy. And guess what? Eric DeCosta makes a move at the trade deadline every year. Will he this year? Maybe not. But more than likely he will. He loves that value. He loves that shit. They've got so many picks next year. They have so many picks this year. They can
so much cap space.
Exactly. So much cap space right now with the extensions that they can make and the restructures that they can make.
Third most in the league next year. All right, I'm going to jump off in a couple minutes, guys, but let me ask all three of you one question. One guy, you have to pick one guy to trade up for tomorrow night. Who is it?
Creed Humphrey.
Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah, Tevin Jenkins. But if I don't know. Spencer, you talked me into it. I don't think they're going to do it because if they pass on him at 31, they're probably not going to trade up for him.
All right, give me somebody else then, Josh. That's not
Trevon Morig from my end.
Somebody else that they trade up for tomorrow.
Like mid-second. They're not going to get up. They're not going to get up all the way into the top of the second.
Liam McNeil.
If we're talking about the end of the second,
Spencer Brown.
Like a borderline second, third.
Yeah, I was going to say Spencer Brown. That's my guy. Yeah, because he's projected to go anywhere between the second and the third. So whenever they say second and third, I'm like, okay, so low second, somewhere in the third.
Yeah, Lee McNeil for me then.
I think Lee McNeil provides immediate impact on this Ravens defense. Voss, who you got?
Richie Grant. I'm gonna go.
I've read your mind, man. I know you're going to say Richie Grant.
I like Brown though a lot. I have Brown ahead of Christensen and Forsythe on my list.
I like Brown better than Forsythe, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
Natural right tackle.
I just revised my list one last time from when I sent it to you yesterday, and that was one of the late moves.
You had a good list.
I mean, I try. I don't watch these guys. Honestly, I don't have time to watch 5 games from every player, but I watch some and I read some and I try to put together. And
you look at. I mean, part of my grades, I look at PFF. I look at the Draft Network. I look at PFN. I look at every single thing. I take in every single scouting report after I watch a couple games. And if I don't think that I feel good about that, then I go back and watch a couple more.
And I've been following this stuff for 15 years, man.
You pick up on tendency.
I have a feel for it. I'm like, okay, this guy reminds me of.
Do. No, you fucking really do.
Right, exactly. So that's where I'm at.
You see movement skills, and that's why I love. We'll end with this. I think we're all good on this front. Brian Baldinger broke it down in such a way that I love so much, and he said the same thing you pretty much just said. He was like, "Look, I've been looking at guys for a long time." Say what you want. You can look at all the metrics. You can look at all the analytics. They're useful tools. At the end of the day, you're looking at movement skills. You can usually tell when one guy moves a little bit different from the rest of them, and those are the guys that you're interested in. So, Baldy, shout out to you for that clip. Eric DeCosta, shout out to you for Rashod Bateman. We love Jason Owe. Josh, thank you for hopping on with us. Vaz, thank you for hopping on with us. We'll be talking to you guys the rest of the way. We love Rashod Bateman. Jake and I have had a fucking blast. Thank you to all of our listeners. We'll be back. We'll be killing the rest of the draft. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And that does it for this episode of the Baltimore Beatdown Podcast.
Thank you guys very much. Talk to you soon. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You know where to fucking follow us.
You do.